American Top Team. This is the place to be in South Florida in Coconut Creek and Bellator 289. They have a big show coming up December 9th on Showtime. And part of that main card is the number 5 middleweight. He keeps going up and up and up. Hercules, Dalton Rosta, undefeated at 7-0. He'll go against number 10 ranked Anthony Adams. Dalton, thank you so much. What's it like to be a part of this card? You've been added to the card. And why not? They have to add Hercules to the card.
Yes, sir. Originally, I was supposed to fight November 18th against John Salter. He said no. Then they offered me Imam Shafi Aliyev. He ended up fighting on the 18th against somebody else, but he turned me down. And then they pushed me back to next year. So once I seen that Imam Shafi was fighting on the card still, I called my manager up. I'm like, yo, what's up with this? I said yes. He turned me down, but he's still fighting. I'm not. Why am I getting punished? Long story short, he called them. Mike Hogan said that it was mainly because of budget at first, but they said they got a prelim fight open on December 9th, but they didn't want to offer me it because they didn't want me to feel burned because they felt like I was a main card guy, which I don't really care about. You know, if I'm fighting before the holidays, fighting before the end of the year, get one more fight on the year, staying active, I don't really care. So I told him I was fine with it, and end of the day, and then it ended up adding me to the main card anyway. So
that's right, yes!
Yeah, so right where I'm supposed to be.
Yes! That's a great how it worked out, though, because here you are, just cool Bellator to be like, look, you know, we don't want you to put you in a prelim because you're a main card guy, you're a main card fighter, the way things you've been doing have been working. And then you're like, look, I just want to fight, I just want to fight. And then they put you on the card, but they also put you on the main card. So that is so cool with that. It's a great card. Danny's going to be main event, and also American Top Team guy Cody Law will be on it as well. American Top Team. What are your thoughts of just how you progressed and about being here at American Top Team?
I've progressed greatly. You know, everything's better now. I'm more well-rounded. I'm a better striker, better wrestler, better grappler. My conditioning's better. You know, I train hard day in, day out, 2-3 times a day. There was actually a day a couple weeks ago that I trained 5 times in one day, and my coach just had to tell me to chill out. You know, I was having a lot of extra energy. You know, I'm young. I like to stay active, taking advantage of my youth. I'm not trying to overdo it, but that day, you know, I got really bored. Trained 5 times in one day. I mean, I love what I do, and I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. So when I'm not training, I don't really do anything. So I come back to the gym, train again. I'm really looking forward to the fight December 9th. Got a tough opponent, Anthony Adams, but I know I'm better than him everywhere. And wherever I decide to take the fight, and it is where I decide to take it, whether it's standing or on the ground, I'm going to beat him.
It's interesting you said that one day you trained 5 times and doing that and all. Just when the coaches and the trainers and everyone's seeing you there like that, showing your dedication to the sport and to the training and all. But then they have to tell you, okay, look, you got to take a step back. You don't want to overdo it. So part of the mental and all, just how does that go? How does that work for you so you're not overdoing it?
I've had problems with overdoing it in the past where I was training 3-4 times a day, getting 5 hours of sleep. You know, I'm a lot smarter with my body nowadays. I was getting a lot of injuries back then, so I kind of learned my lesson, but it took me a lot longer than it should have. You know, I was injuring myself in wrestling, in football, in high school, and college. Even early on in my MMA and boxing career as an amateur, I was hurting myself a lot. And it took a while, like I said, to learn, but I eventually did. So I'm a lot smarter with my body nowadays. That 5 times in one day, like I said, that was a one-day thing, but I've been keeping it 2-3 times a day. My coaches did tell me to chill out, but I kind of knew I was going to chill out the next day anyways, based on how my training went that day, and I pushed myself to the max. I didn't want to get hurt, pull a muscle or something the next day, just because I was overtrained. But you know, everything's on point: my sleep, my diet, my training, my conditioning, everything. So I couldn't be better prepared.
And Dalton, from a standpoint of just how you're feeling physically and all like that, because you're in the middleweight ranks, you're a bigger middleweight too, strong middleweight and all. How do you balance that part of it? The strength part of it with also some of the agility. And you're feeling good right now at not only the weight, but the strength level as well.
Yeah. I'm a more of an explosive athlete. You know, there's people that have really, really good cardio. I have to work really hard to get it. Don't get me wrong, I still have the cardio now. I have the gas tank to go the full 3 rounds and push it hard the entire time, but I have to push my body to the absolute max every single training session, maximize my training sessions as much as I can. And I mean, besides that, like I said, I'm explosive, so the speed and the strength and the power and everything comes naturally, and I think that's an advantage over a lot of people in my weight class, especially people look at me, they see the way I'm built, and they don't think that I'm going to be fast. They don't think I'm going to be explosive. They're like, okay, he probably hit hard, he's probably strong based off the way I look. They're like, he's going to gas, you know, he's probably not quick, he's probably stiff. Then they're in there with me, and the punches are in their face faster than they can, you know, react. And then I can push the pace and go the full 3 rounds hard, and then my opponents are more tired than I am, and I'm imposing my will on them, and you know, they can game plan for me and watch film all they want, and they can think what they want, have their opinions, but as soon as they step in the cage with me, it's a different story.
Training for you and the coaching, so for this fight particularly, well, also this just came about as well, but who have you been training with right now? Who have you been working out with to get ready for the fight?
Honestly, I've been kind of training with a little bit of everybody. You know, this sport, it's mixed martial arts, you got to be prepared for anything, anytime. My last camp, I was sparring with mostly wrestlers. This guy's a Muay Thai guy. You know, he shoots every now and then. I'm going to be expecting him to try and switch it up on me, do stuff that I'm not expecting. I expect that with every fight. But this fight, there wasn't anybody in particular that I prepared with. You know, I got some sparring rounds with Johnny Eblin. I got some sparring rounds with Sabatello Mossy. I got some sparring rounds with Gleico Franca, Artem Levin. You know, so all different body sizes, all different lengths, all different speeds, different styles, different striking styles, grapplers, wrestlers, a little bit of everything, you know. So I think this camp, actually doing that, helped me out a lot more because I'm able to adapt with each training session. I don't get used to my training partner, even though he's mimicking my opponent, he's not necessarily exactly the same as my opponent. So this camp I actually think I enjoyed and I think helped me out a lot more, because each sparring session I'm adapting. I might spar with somebody 2 sparring sessions in a row, and then I switch it up. And they might be doing some things that my training partner or my opponent's gonna do, but they're doing it in a different way than my last sparring partner that I did before that. So I have to adapt on the spot, and that's exactly what I'm gonna have to do in the cage. You know, he might pop out and show something that, you know, I haven't seen on tape yet. You know, I gotta be able to adapt right then and there. So I think this camp has helped me achieve that.
There is also going to be Danny Sabatello is going to be in the main event for American Top Team. Cody Law, another outstanding fighter from American Top Team's on the card as well.
Mike Lombardo as well.
So four fighters from American Top Team that are going to be there, and all the coaches. So who will be in your corner, and what's it like to, even though I know it is individualized sport, but still having American Top Team like taking over Bellator?
It's awesome. You look at every single weight class, man. We got at least one person in each weight class doing their thing. In my weight class, we happen to have 3. We have me, Johnny, and Austin. You know, so it just goes to show how good American Top Team is, how good the coach is, how good the facility. Because altogether, it's a team effort to make each other better, and it's a combined effort from the coaching staff and the owner and the manager of the gym to provide the training sessions and set up set up the schedule and keep it organized and having us maximizing our potential. So it's really a group effort, and I'm really thankful to be here. You know, I had some good training and stuff back home, and I still do whenever I go back home, but this gym has definitely elevated my game big time.
And where's home?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Back to Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir.
So, and who, do you know yet who you'll be in your corner for this fight?
Anderson Franco, striking coach, Mike Brown, and my coach from back home, Isaac Grilly, owner of the Mat Factory. So that'll be all 3 in my cornermen. I'm not sure about Cody. Cody's from the same area as me. I know Isaac's going to be his corner. I know Mike's going to be his corner, but I don't know who's striking coach is going to be, whether it's going to be Anderson or his coach from back home, his taekwondo coach from back home. So.
And Pittsburgh, the Steel City. So you've been following the Steelers?
Yes, sir. We're not doing so well this year.
That's all right. You have plenty of years. You have to.
I went to the game and wasn't that great of a showing.
Oh, it was a good game though.
Yeah,
it was close.
It got exciting
at
the end, but we were getting blown out at first.
That's a thing too with it's interesting too when you think of sports, athletics, and just so much of it is mental too. No matter what sport it is. Yeah, it's the physical, but it's also the mental and all. Was that did you get to see the game where you down here at the stadium here, or was that up in Pittsburgh?
No, that was here.
That was here, and was it the first time you've gone to a game down here?
Sir.
Yeah, what was that like? Because Pittsburgh is known for football and a tradition and everything like that. Just what was it like from that standpoint of going to a game up in Pittsburgh and then going to a football game here?
I think I like going to away stadiums now. You know, I love Heinz Field, and I'll continue to go to games there, but it's a different experience going to away stadiums and experience the different atmosphere and the fans, obviously, it's sometimes fun getting in shit talking matches with them, but.
Yeah, but I bet you didn't have to worry too much about that.
Yeah. Actually, bro, I was with a couple of my friends from Pittsburgh that came down for the fight, and they almost got in a fight one of the fans. And check this out. The fan went and told the security guard. He was the one who started the fight. He was the one being aggressive. He was antagonizing. And then, we were going back and forth. Not me, but those two. We're going back and forth with them. And after they got in an argument and they kind of, intimidated him a little bit, he went and told the security guards, and they came up and tried kicking out my friends. And Dolphin fans, Pittsburgh fans, everybody that was around us, not people sitting behind him too that he thought would be on his side because he was a Dolphins fan, were going down telling the security officers and the police officers it was him. So it backfired on him, and he ended up going and getting kicked out.
Good, but that's good though too. It shows you that the fans are, so what that you're a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah.
We're not going to have this type of situation there. Yeah, you go up to Pittsburgh, and I'm sure fans up there, so passionate about their football, passionate about their sports. I bet you had a nice group of Pittsburgh fans though at that stadium.
Oh yeah, there was a lot. I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised. There was people that flew in from Pittsburgh to watch the game there as well, not just fans that live down here. So you get that with every sporting event.
You do get a lot with sporting events, but Pittsburgh fans especially, they're good about traveling and going and all. Steeler fans and all. I remember, this is going way back today, I remember the Steel Curtain and Mean Joe Green and Terry Bradshaw and Lynn Swan and John Stallworth and all those are 70s and late 70s and I think early 80s maybe too, when Pittsburgh had, that defense, L.C. Greenwood and all. I used to watch the Steelers, the Dolphins and the Steelers. I used to watch Steelers too because they were such a tough, good, hard-nosed. Jack Ham, Jack Lambert. these are guys. You were maybe you were with Neil O'Donnell when they went to the Super Bowl then, or no? Or maybe it was after Neil O'Donnell, because they went to the Super Bowl once with quarterback Neil O'Donnell. But you probably know it was Roethlisberger.
Bradshaw.
Yours was Roethlisberger. Well, Bradshaw before that, but Roethlisberger was your guy.
Yeah.
Probably growing up and everything.
He won. It was his second year in the league, the youngest quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Big Ben, Matt. He
got 2 Super Bowls under his belt. I think we should have got a couple more with the teams that we had, but at the end of
it's
the day,
tough.
Yeah, it's the NFL.
It is. It's tough.
I think it was some coaching decisions, but every coach makes a mistake. You know what I mean? You're calling against everything's a gamble. Every play's a gamble. So
It is, and
it's easier for fans. Me being a professional athlete and seeing the way that fans criticize professional MMA fighters and them not really knowing much about fighting or game planning or preparing for a fight or making adjustments during the fight and just seeing how they scream at the screen and talk about fighters. It's the same way with football. It's easy for us to criticize the coach, but every game's a gamble. Every play's a gamble. When you're calling a play, you're basing it off of what you think the defense might be calling, or vice versa, what the offense is going to be calling. So you might be wrong. You might have people lined up in the wrong area, or you might call the wrong play to the wrong side. It's at the end of the day, it's hard. But that being said, I still do think that Matt Canada should be fired. He's really bad. He's really bad. He's calling high school level plays, and we have you take defensive scoring out of the equation because we got a couple touchdowns on defense this year. We have the least amount of points per game, period. And before last week, we didn't have a touchdown pass over 10 yards, and I think the last team to do that before us was in the 1970s, and before that was 1932 or some shit like that. I don't even remember the name of the team.
Offensive game, and you can't get away with that in this day, especially when defenses are not allowed to hit like they used to on the offenses. You got to be able to put some points up, and should be able to put some points up, because the defense are not allowed to be as physical as they once were.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing stat. Those are some amazing stats offensively that are there and all. But also, I want to touch on what you said too about now, because you're an MMA fighter and you've experienced different people, different fans saying different things, it gives you a different perspective on football and other sports and coaching and different things like that.
I said, it's the same thing. It might be a team sport, it might be a different sport, but the outsiders looking in, it's always easy for them to criticize, everybody that's in there doing it. It's easy. It's one of those things. It's a lot easier said than done, and that's one of the truest things I ever heard. Whenever it comes to professional sports, period, people think because they played football in high school that they know what playing professional football is like, or they fought amateur MMA on the amateur scene, or they just trained MMA and they did well against certain guys at practice that they think they know how it goes to professional level. It's not like that at all. Same thing with wrestling in high school versus wrestling in college and wrestling in the Olympics. It's not the same at all. It's a different pace, you know, different game planning, different knowledge level. You know, there's more things to it. There's more game plans, more strategies, more defensive packages. It's people just don't put it like this. It's easier said than done. So
I think also you get to certain levels, and the skill level too gets higher and higher and higher when you're going from high school, college, and if you get to the Olympics, something along those lines as well. Now the best in the world that you're going against and all. But fans are fans. They're always going to be there saying stuff. The main thing you as a fighter is you sort of try to block that out as best you can, especially
sometimes
over
I have fun with it though. You know.
Do you play around with it too?
Yeah. So like,
social?
and you get a lot of people that don't really have personalities that are like, ignore that. Why are you paying attention to that? And I'm like, listen, it's not bothering me. I'm not responding because it's bothering me. I'm responding because I'm having fun with it. This dude's talking shit. I'm gonna talk shit back. He doesn't expect a response out of me in the first place. And two, he thinks what he's saying is gonna get under my skin when really I'm just using it to get under his skin. And you know, some people, like, if you look at Bellator's posts, every time they post something about me, people are quick to say something about steroids. You know what I mean? And if you click on some of these guys' pages, it's like, bro, you're telling me I'm on steroids? It's like, these dudes are like 260 pounds solid muscle, and they're like, this guy's juicy. I'm like, bro, I'm 185 pounds. Like, just because I'm leaner than you doesn't mean I'm on fucking steroids. I train day in and day out, burning 300,000 or 3,000 calories a day, and, you know, doing immense amounts of cardio. So, of course, and I diet hard, of course I'm going to be ripped. You know what I mean? But if those guys that were 250 pounds dieted down to 185 pounds, they'd probably look the same exact way, you know, but they're quick. Jealousy, I feel like. A lot of these guys get jealous, you know, they see somebody on Instagram that is built well, trains hard, does everything right, you know, and they don't. And a lot of these guys do take steroids. I've seen it at my home gyms, you know, not MMA, but I've seen it in the weightlifting gyms around my hometown. The guys that are always accusing people of being on steroids are the ones that are on steroids, you know, because they're taking steroids and then they don't look that good. And they're like, if he looks like that and I'm taking steroids, he has to be taking steroids. When at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you don't sleep right, you don't eat right, you don't train right, you stick a needle in your ass and you think at the end of the day that you're going to look like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not how it works.
Well, I'll say this. You're doing it the right way. You're doing it the natural way. You're working your butt off. And to get to this, and we'll wrap it up with this, where do you think, I don't like for you guys to look ahead so much, but when you get this victory, what do you think is next for you?
So, like I said, they offered me John Salter, but I said yeah. He said no. I don't know if he said no. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know what the hell the reason was. At the end of the day, he didn't accept the fight. So if they want to make that fight after this, I'm all for it. You know, if they want to give me another fight, kind of to, you know, if he's waiting, you know, if there's an injury and he has to wait, and they want to give me a fight in the meantime, make me wait for him, or, you know, somebody else in the top 3, I'm cool with it. You know, I have 3 fights left on this contract, so if they do one with Anthony Adams and give me another lower ranked guy, and then they want to give me John Salter, I'm cool with it. Or if they want to give me John Salter right away and then something else after that, I'm cool with it. So it's all about what Bellator has planned for me, and I mean, based on my performance that I plan on having next, I think that they'll have something big planned for me. So hoping for the best. And
it's interesting because you have the champ Johnny, you also have Austin Vanderford, both train American Top Team in your middleweight division.
I train with both of them pretty often, pretty frequently. Me and Johnny just got done sparring the other day. So
talk about another one that works, trains. Whoa,
yeah, he
Johnny's here a lot.
He has a fucking gas tank on him, man. It's funny because I drive a muscle car, he drives a Tesla, and it's like kind of, I think, indicative of like how our fighting styles are, you know? Where it's like I'm like more of like horsepower, and I don't really have good gas mileage. This motherfucker drives a Tesla, has all, yeah, no, this dude's fuel efficiencies through the fucking roof in his car and in his actual fighting style, so it's pretty funny.
Oh, it's just great. Well, Bellator 289, December 9th, Showtime. He's on the main card, Dalton Rosta. And also he had AEW wrestling. Dalton was on an AEW wrestling show. I always got to add that in. So because to me, that's always cool because I love that and all. With Dan Lambert, with the whole team. Well, geez, Paige Van Zant was there. Austin Vanderford was there. Kayla Harrison was there.
Paige is with them full time now. I mean, I'm hoping to get back on that. That'd be cool. You know?
That's a lot of fun. I mean, that's
really
just
cool,
the trip,
so.
man.
Yeah, if I can get back on it, I'd love to.
Well, Dalton, thank you much. Wish you all the best. Go get him. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.